Hi, I'm Joe Gailey, and I want to welcome you to this educational webcast about what to do when you're audited by the IRS. In more than 40 years of practicing as an attorney and a CPA, I think the most panicked phone calls I've ever received have been from people who had just received notice that they were going to be audited by the IRS. And of course, in exasperation, what do? Well, the first thing they do is they don't panic. First of all, the IRS cannot just come and take money from you. In order to take money out of your account, the IRS has to follow a certain procedure. And part of that procedure is giving you due process and the notice by certified mail and the ability to seek relief in the United States Tax Court. With limited exceptions, they cannot just come in and take money before completing an audit. So your failure to respond to them is not going to result in their raiding your bank account. Secondly, it's not going to result in someone coming out to arrest you. The IRS they can compel you to appear, but they have to do that by issuing a summons. And then if you don't appear as requested, then they have to go to court to enforce that summons. All of that takes time, sometimes well over a year. They're not going to send you a letter and tell you to appear at a certain time and date and then have someone come out and arrest you because you didn't appear. Now, in this day and age, you do have to be careful about fraudsters who call you and say that from the IRS, that you didn't appear in an audit and that you need to send hundreds of dollars to them as a fine or they're going to have you arrested. That is simply not true, and you shouldn't talk to people like that. But what do you do when you actually do get an audit? Well, the first thing you do is you need a consultation with a knowledgeable, experienced tax professional. That is a tax lawyer or a CPA who's knowledgeable in taxes. The purpose of that is primarily to decide, do you need representation at the audit, or can you represent yourself without fear of losing any valuable rights? For most people that only receive W-2 income and have no businesses, no rental property, no partnership interest, maybe they don't need someone at the audit with them. On the other hand, there are reasons why you might. For instance, the IRS may have audited someone else who has implicated you in some sort of nefarious scheme. And if so, then you will need representation. And there'll be certain clues, perhaps, that will give an experienced person an opinion as to whether that has happened. That's why everybody needs to seek counsel and then decide at that meeting whether to engage that person to represent them or whether to try to do it on their own. One of the problems with representing yourself at the IRS is that whatever you tell the IRS agent has to be true. And if it's not true, you can go to jail. It doesn't matter that you haven't been sworn like you would be in court. It's the same jail sentence to lie to an IRS agent or to an FBI agent or any government official for that matter. It's the same prison sentence for that as it is for perjury, which is lying after you've been placed under oath. So there is a situation that you have to be concerned about. Will you be trapped into stating an untruth or misleading truth that could complicate your case? Now, in all fairness, most people are not in a situation where that becomes an issue for them. But if you're self-employed, if you're in politics, if you're a famous person, if you have income from from various corporations or partnerships, then it is possible that you could get embroiled in that, and you definitely need legal representation. Now, there's one other thing I want to tell you about legal representation, and that is, what is the difference between getting a lawyer to represent you and getting a CPA to represent you? Well, there is a difference, but it doesn't lie in the skill or knowledge of the tax professional. It lies in the infrastructure of privilege. Now, what is privilege? Privilege is a legal doctrine that says whatever you tell someone is privileged and can't be disclosed to anyone. For instance, what you tell an attorney is generally privileged, and they cannot be forced to repeat it in open court or before the IRS. However, CPAs do not enjoy the same level of privilege that lawyers do. And in some situations, they could be forced to repeat to the IRS or to repeat in court what you told them. So depending upon the circumstances, you may be better going to a tax lawyer, an experienced lawyer, to resolve these issues and to give you some guidance rather than a CPA. I appreciate your tuning in to this educational webcast. If you have any questions, please email me at the email address you see on the screen, and we'll be glad to try to offer such additional information or get back in touch as schedule allows. Have a good day.